Hello, and welcome to Increasing Language for a Neurodivergent Population. Hello, and welcome to Increasing Language for a Neurodivergent Population. Today's training is sponsored by Library Transforming Communities, a grant for small rural communities, and the Millstadt Library. My name is Lauren Behme. I'm a BCBA and a licensed behavior analyst with Abilities Behavior Services and Trinity Services. Abilities is a division of Trinity Services. Here are some developmental milestones in relation to language development. These are very broad categories, not necessarily detailing all of the milestones, but maybe more of the major milestones at each developmental age. So what is language? Language is any type of communicative intent. It can be spoken, written, sign language, the use of pictures or symbols, eye contact, facial expressions, body posture or proximity to something, pointing, and hand leading. Speech, specifically, is the development and articulation of sounds into words. So we're just going to be focusing on language today, not speech. Non-vocal communication makes up a large part of communication between one or more communicative partners. Here we have in this pie chart broken down 55% of body language is the biggest part of communication. We have 7% of the spoken words and 38% being voice or tone of someone. There's a difference between having a language delay versus a language disorder. Delay typically means that the manner or order of the language being developed is just on a delayed timeline. So if there's a younger child that is just a late talker, that may be best described as language delay. However, to be diagnosed with a language disorder, there is an atypical manner of language development. And this is someone that has difficulty speaking with others or using language in a spoken form. Within neurodiversity, communication may be delayed. It may develop at different rates than their peers. May be difficult to understand to maybe untrained learners or hearers. May not look the same for everyone. May be hard or challenging within new situations. It may emerge after a rapport with someone has been built, so people may be shy to start communicating. Here's a statistics for autism and language development, and it is estimated that 25 to 40% of the population diagnosed with autism is considered non-vocal or non-verbal. So what that means is there's less than 30 spoken words in that person's vocabulary. And that is categorized as profound or severe autism. And just as of 2018, 1 in 68 individuals have been diagnosed with autism. So why is communication so important? Because it dictates how we behave with others. If we don't behave in a way that is appropriate or wanted, it may be looked at as a failure to communicate with someone else appropriately. So again, why do we want to have communication be increased? We want to empower individuals to make their lives as happy and independent as possible. communities that have individuals that are able to be independent and happy, they're going to be able to grow that community and feel a sense of belonging. We ultimately want to increase positive interactions and decrease unwanted interactions. So how do we want to increase? All of the points on this slide will be talked about in a lot more detail. I'm just going to go over the bullet points first, and then each subsequent slide will be shown. Motivation. So we want to increase language through motivation. First, we want to find out what motivates someone. We may look at what they gravitate towards, if they're in a room full of toys, or if they're in their favorite spot in the house. What are things that they are spending the most time doing? What are they doing when they have those activities? Are there signs of smiles or signs of enjoyment or smiles? When those motivating things or activities are gone, do they show signs that they want more? Once we find out what motivates someone, we want to use that activity, item, or interaction to create an opportunity to use language. We're going to start very basic, and we'll break down what basic looks like and the fact that it's going to look different for everyone. Then we want to decide which mode of communication works best. Then we want to troubleshoot if it's not working. Then we want to provide that item, activity, or interaction for engagement and the desired communication exchange with someone. So first bullet point, how are we going to use motivation? First, it's imperative that someone is placed in a situation where they have to go to a communicative partner to practice what to do and how to do it. So for example, if a child is wanting a toy that is placed in a location that they may not be able to access themselves, they're going to need to go to a parent, a sibling, a caregiver, a teacher to get access to that item. And that is going to set up a perfect time for somebody to use language to get their wants and needs met. So you may have to put up, hide, hold, or place items in a container to begin to elicit communication. If someone has access to all their favorite foods, drinks, toys, TV shows, people at all times, there may not be an opportunity for them to even ask for those things because they have free access to them whenever they want. Then another way to use motivation is offer choices. So if there's something that they really like, or you want to gauge what they're interested in, maybe you offer a choice between two food items. Do you want pretzels or cookies? Then they have the ability to either say cookies, point to cookies, reach for cookies, use eye contact to look at the cookies. All of those things we would be able to gauge how they're communicating and what is motivating them. And we want to make it fun and interactive. Kids are going to be more likely to want to use language in a setting where they're having fun and they're enjoying the things that they're doing. So what are some basic communication goals or skills that need to be worked on with individuals? Requesting things that they want through attention, getting the attention of, again, a sibling, parent, or caregiver, or that's going to be very powerful to get things that they want to have access to, whether that be a cookie, a toy, a TV show, more of something or less of something, like telling someone stop, no, all done, or yes. Those are all very basic communication, but very powerful in getting someone's wants and needs met. Getting help with something. If they're trying to put on their shoes or put on a shirt and it seems like they're getting very frustrated, that would be the perfect opportunity to teach someone to ask for help. Space or to be left alone. Not everyone wants someone in their personal bubble 24/7. So it might be important, especially with siblings, for for someone who's having some language difficulty to ask for space or to have some room to themselves. And then how to leave a situation. If there's something that they really don't like, whether it be something like nail clipping, bath, or a very loud, kind of chaotic environment, being able to ask to leave the situation is going to be very powerful as well, so that we're not leading to overstimulating and then again other behaviors that may impede the success of that person being in their community and experiencing happiness and language acquisition. So overall, we want to get someone's basic needs and wants met through basic communication. So what are some next steps? We may look at labeling, like, ooh, airplane, or oh, brown doggy, or black car, look at that. Those are basic labeling of things that they see in their environment. It can be people, places, or things. And then following simple and complex directions. So following a simple direction may look like go get your cup, or bring cup to mommy, or put the bowl on the counter. To more complex directions where they're multi-step and they're going to a location. So expanding on the go get the cup, go get the bowl, and bring it to mommy, that could be one long complex direction of go get the bowl, go get the cup, and bring it to mommy. Answering questions. So it is important for people to ask as well as answer questions, whether those questions be about themselves, like what is your name, how old are you, to something more complex like tell me your favorite color, what do you like to eat. Those are going to be the next steps past basic communication of saying cookie to saying what do you want to eat, and they say cookie. And then asking questions like, what is that? Where are we? What's your name? Who are you? Those are going to be the next steps past answering questions, because they're going to be more complex and it's going to require more words to have that communicative exchange. And then initiating interactions like telling someone, hi, bye, what's up, how are you? Do you like how your day is going? All of those initiating interactions are going to be very important and crucial for gaining more social skills as well as communication skills with somebody else. And it's important to note that these skills can build upon each other. You don't have to teach them one by one in any type of sequential order. So how do you decide on a communication mode? There's so many different ways to communicate with somebody, but first let's look at their strengths. Are they excelling with visuals like pictures, written, textual, or symbols? Are they really good with imitation? Are they able to imitate somebody vocally or motor? If motor imitation is something that is a skill that they excel with, then we may look at sign language. Nonverbal communication, are they really good with gestures like shaking their head no or yes, or body language like kind of turning away from you or making a face, with the facial expressions like looks of signs of enjoyment or signs of displeasure. Technology, do they excel with technology? There's so many AAC devices. AAC stands for augmentative alternative communication. And then there's lots of apps on the iPad that people can download and pay for subscriptions for, that are picture or written visuals for someone to communicate, where they would just touch a button that says, I want to go outside, or I want cookie. So those are all things that have to go into play in deciding which communication mode works best for an individual. And then there's total communication, which is any one of these other bullet points used in conjunction with each other. So it could be that they're able to say yes and no through shaking their head, but they may need a visual or the use of a device to communicate greater needs besides yes and no. Important that we're being flexible with our approach and knowing that any communication someone is using is good communication. Next, we want to reinforce and build upon the skills that someone is demonstrating. So step one, we want to provide the wanted item or activity immediately or soon after the child says or does the wanted word or statement. And why do we want to do that? Because if the child sees if I use my words or if I use my iPad app or if I use sign to communicate, then people are going to do what I say. And that's going to be very powerful to them to show that their words have meaning. Then we want to increase the criteria. So after the child is becoming fluent in using words, signs, pictures, etc., whatever their mode of communication is, we then want to make that a little bit more difficult. So maybe we're adding words or we're increasing the number of people that that person has to go to get their needs met. It's going to look different for everyone. And it may also need to teach waiting for a desired item. It may not always be feasible for a parent or a caregiver to give a requested item immediately after requesting it. Or there could be a situation where someone is requesting something that may not be available. For example, someone requesting a food item that is no longer in the house, or requesting to see a family member that is not in the state at the moment, or requesting maybe a trip to Disney World when that's not really a feasible option to be provided. So we may have to teach waiting or teach an alternative thing that someone can be requesting. And then we want to combine step 2 and 3. We want to increase the criteria, who they're talking to, what needs to be said or done for the communicative purpose, and then waiting for that item, again, to build a little bit of resilience within individuals so that gratification can be delayed. It is important to consult with a board certified behavior analyst or a speech language pathologist for any concerns with language and then additional steps or goals that someone would need to work on. Be aware of our own behavior. Because behavior does not happen in a vacuum, we have to have someone else be involved for behavior or communication to happen. We have to realize that we're our child's first teacher. And it's often best practice to bombard children with long, really descriptive phrases, and we have to know that that may not work for every kid. So, for example, if you're out at the park with your child and you really want them to start talking about the things that are around them or the things that they see, a really long descriptive phrase of, oh, wow, look at that slide. It's yellow, it's wavy. Oh my goodness, I bet we can go down and say wee, and it's so fast. That may be too much language. That's great words to describe what the child is seeing, doing, what they can do. But we may need to start more basic with sounds. So saying something like wee, oh, uh-oh, yellow, and common short words like up, go up, 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 and then we're going to go down, 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 down. And then again, wanted item. So if there's something that is a common thing within the household or a daycare setting that the child is wanting, whether it be like cup, ball, toy, blanket, or a TV show, just saying that one word instead of, do you want the blue sippy cup with the milk inside? That may be lost on someone that is having some language delays or has a language disorder. We want to also pay attention to their nonverbal communication. Kids or adults even show us what they are interested in or not interested in by their communication. So turning away, pushing something away, closing their eyes, kind of making facial expressions that show us that they don't want something. That could be a perfect time to work on the use of the word no, stop, all done, I don't like that. Those are also opportunities that we can place a child in to work on increasing their communication. And then again, overall, we want to make learning experiences fun and interactive. If a child is engaged and they're showing signs of enjoyment with what they're doing, they're going to be more likely to keep wanting to come back for more interactions. Don't get too discouraged if huge progress, isn't made when you would like it to be. Any practice with the use of language is progress. We want to keep an open mind and a positive attitude. People are going to be more likely to make changes when we're having great interactions with someone. Here's some recommended reading. The first one is The Verbal Behavior Approach by Dr. Mary Lynch Barbera. It is written by a board-certified behavior analyst, but it is written in language that is easily accessible to a general population. A second book is Let Me Hear Your Voice by Catherine Morris. It's a little bit older, so some of the terminology or maybe methodology may not be the most up-to-date, but it is written in a first-hand account of a parent of a child with a language disorder, as well as Dr. Barbera. She is a mother of a child, well, now an adult with autism, and her journey as well to become a board-certified behavior analyst to assist her child in meeting their language goals. So highly recommend those. Thank you for attending. My name is Lauren Behme again, and if you have any questions or would like to talk further about today's topic, my email address is lbehme@trinityservices.org. Thanks for tuning in.